Scientists still don't know exactly how many of these animals remain, but they're certain they could vanish forever at any moment. Deep in the misty Annamite Mountains, on the border between Vietnam and Laos, lives a creature that has been seen alive only a handful of times in all of recorded history. They call it the Asian unicorn, even though it has two horns. The nickname stuck simply because the animal is almost impossible to encounter. This is the Saola, one of the rarest and most enigmatic mammals on the planet, a species science didn't even know existed until the very end of the 20th century. While humans were landing on the moon and splitting the atom, a large animal weighing nearly 100 kilograms was quietly living in these forests, and nobody had the slightest idea it was there. In May of 1992, scientists walked into a hunter's home in a remote Vietnamese village and spotted a strange skull hanging on the wall. Two long, straight, sharp horns, unlike anything found on any known animal. And in that instant, the world realized it had discovered a brand new species. It was the first large mammal introduced to science in over half a century, the zoological sensation of the 20th century. The Saola resembles an antelope, sleek body, chocolate brown coat, yet oddly enough, its closest relatives are wild cattle. Its face carries bold white markings as if painted with a brush, and its two parallel horns can reach half a meter in length. Both males and females sport these horns, likely to defend themselves against predators in the dense, dark mountain forests. The Saola is so unique that scientists had to create an entirely new genus just for it. Across the whole world, it has no close kin whatsoever. It lives in only one place, the Annamite Mountains, among damp forests and river valleys wrapped in perpetual fog. The Saola leads a secretive life in the most remote corners of these mountains, where human footsteps rarely fall, which is precisely why it's so hard to find. In all the decades since its discovery, scientists have reliably sighted a wild Saola only a handful of times. The first photograph of a Saola in the wild wasn't captured until 1999 by a hidden camera trap in the forests of Laos. Nearly everything we know about the animal comes from a few individuals that briefly survived in captivity, and from the accounts of local villagers. No Saola has ever managed to live long in captivity. This wild forest spirit simply fades away far from its native misty mountains. Nobody knows for certain how many are left. Estimates range from a few hundred down to just a couple of dozen individuals. The greatest threat to the Saola is snare traps, set by poachers in the forest for wild boar and deer. The Saola stumbles into these traps by accident, becoming a silent victim of hunting that was never aimed at it in the first place. In the northern part of its range, the Saola is hunted deliberately for its long horns, prized as a rare trophy. Every year, more of the forest around it is cut down, and its tiny world shrinks further and further, torn apart into isolated fragments. Scientists classify the Saola as critically endangered, the final step before complete extinction. Vietnam and Laos have agreed to work together to try to save the Saola through a conservation breeding program under human protection. But to save it, you first have to find it, and this ghostly animal slips away time and again, even from the most experienced researchers. Today, the Saola remains one of the greatest mysteries of the natural world, an animal that exists, yet that almost no one has ever laid eyes on. And somewhere out there, in the misty forests of the Annamites, among wet leaves and silence, the Asian unicorn still roams, guarding its last secret.